You'd best behave, Fred. You're in Beauclair, see?
Oh,
Tell you, no
is my
man
head
knows the
ever
day or the
spinning
hour.
after
The
last
merchant,
night?
the one so giddy the Hanse let him go, he drank himself stupid, fell in the lake, and drowned.
That Witcher's rather handsome.
Go, go.
Hey! You played
Clairvoix!
Oh,
Our most gracious Duchess!
disperse! The exhibition of the Reginald Daubry Monument will remain closed until further notice.
Hey there.
Oh, the Witcher! The one the Duquesa summoned!
Now bring us some thick pudding and drink.
This will gobble up all of you. Slurp your sleeves.
Easy.
Horrible times.
Ow!
Any good victuals, Russians?
Hey there, citizen.
Voyages.
How much for your work?
A lot.
If thy lips don't stink of wine, my wife won't know that mine.
Run, Roach.
I'm early. No guardsmen yet.
So eager, are you? The mill, then. We shall discuss the assault inside.
see you already prepared a plan. Walk me through it?
We have two objectives. To find Her Illustrious Highness's sister and capture the man who blackmailed the vampire. Duntine is a modest complex. Several old buildings, a high wall around them. At the center of the enclosure stands an imposing keep, restored not long past by the elderly knight of the castle, Roderick. We mean to strike here, through the main gate, then secure the area in front of the keep by storm.
How many men defend Duntine, you know?
Roderick maintains a team of knights for defense. They are no army, but they could number several dozen. Also, Roderick recently took in a band of foreign mercenaries. About them we know very little.
Cintrian's men, gotta be. Ran into a few in town. They tried to kill me. Need to hit them from both sides. You draw the defenders, keep them busy. I'll sneak in the back way, find the women, make sure they come to no harm. I'll vault over the wall as soon as you start your assault.
Your plan puts you at great risk, but I sense you will handle it well. Let us go.
So it begins.
Quick! We grab Roderick's horses and we bolt.
We won't vault far if the boys out front don't hold.
Not so fast. Little change of plans.
Kill him! What is this? He killed Hugo and Belin! Grab him!
Not too late to surrender. Roderick sent them to get the horses. He's looking to flee. Can't let him.
I see no ducals along the road.
They must not be guarding it.
Roderick was right. We can flee. We'll manage. Bloody bots! What was that?
Those kids on the wagon!
trying
crates.
to escape.
But be careful if you drop any. Someone's here. They've breached the back wall. Come on, kill him. Go on, lads. Beat the bum butcher. Surround him. Surround and kill. Onward. No mercy. Go on, lads. Beat the bum butcher. Onward. No mercy. I'm a hard nut to crack. Mercy! Mercy! I did no wrong.
Nah, kept the wrong damn company. Centrion's men, where are they?
I knew. Shouldn't have let them under my roof.
Where's the hostage, the woman?
What? What do you mean? I know nothing about a hostage. Must be the handiwork of my guests.
Where are they now?
In the keep, ready in their escape.
There's someone with them? Woman named Sienna?
Of course. She convinced me to let them in.
And a whole pile of trouble along with them. Where is she?
Packing. We were to leave together. An old fool. I'd have done anything for her.
Where is she? In the keep too?
Yes. Her chamber is in the tower, the top floor. What will become of me?
Leaving you to the Ducal Guard, if you don't bleed to death in the meantime.
Huey, a pox upon you!
Boa tarde, cheguei pra ver o zeramento desse Master Pieked.
É, mano. Vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Pô, tô com uma espada quebrada já, velho. Espada quebra muito fácil aqui, velho.
What is happening? How many? There are too many. You cannot stop them. Light the barricade! Quick now! This one! Kill the shitleister!
Caralho, tem um cara ali.
I will dare you to shoot!
Um cara forte pra porra ali, mano.
You will die, you little stronza! You will die, you little stronza! I will dare you to shreds!
Queima aí, otário.
I will tear you to shreds!
Podia dropar a espada dele, né, mano? Dropou nada. Tô forte pra caralho, mano.
Last chance. Yield.
The damn harlot got us into this. Kill him! Attack!
Chegou meu brother, vampiro. Pô, falei pra eles não virem, mano. Mesmo assim eles vieram.
Need to get into the keep. They shall pay for everything.
Ó, ó os vampiros, mano. Porra! Ó. Caralho, mano. Queima aí, velho. Derrote os guardas. Tem mais guarda aqui?
Die.
Tu disse que vai platinar esse game, mas é o troféu das cartas.
Ah, mano. Digamos que eu vou platinar sem a parte do Gwent, entendeu? Dá pra entrar aqui, será? Pô, mano, não consigo... Não, deve ser por aqui.
Wasn't expecting to see you two here.
We thought you could use our help. So, Witcher, this is no time to explain. Where is Renna?
Ou talvez sim, mano. Vamos ver.
Questions inside.
Let us go then.
Aí eu vou platinar ele offline, mano. Não vou jogar em live. Ou talvez sim, não sei. Eu sei que eu quero zerar expansão agora e dá mais um tempo de The Witcher, tá ligado? E não... Tu fica jogando só o mesmo jogo sempre, mano. Eu não gosto de ficar jogando o mesmo jogo sempre.
Renna,
Nice. Achou ela, mano.
are you hurt? If any of them.
You know me. I'd never let them hurt me. I just waited for you to come.
I didn't know where to look. They threatened to kill you. Forgive me. I failed you.
O jogo é grande demais, ô
Now,
seu.
find Anna Henrietta's sister. Where should we look? Do you know?
Ran into Roderick, Duntine's lord. Told me where I'd find Sienna.
Then speak and let's grab her. Time is short.
Said she was in a room in the tower. Very one we're in right now. Which, incidentally, looks nothing like a prison cell. And
Alguma
just so
estranha.
happens there's a
Alguma
corrupt
coisa estranha com aquela mina ali, mano.
Bet it's stolen Sanreal.
What's your point?
Giving you one chance to tell us everything yourself.
I've nothing to tell.
Witcher, what is this?
Sorry, Dettlaff. You've been had.
My friend, please. You must listen to what Geralt has to say.
Sienna e Rena, elas são exatamente a mesma pessoa. Ué? Como assim, mano? O sequestro foi uma farsa. Ah, pode ser isso aqui.
Never was any abduction. She faked it to be able to control you, manipulate you.
You lie! He seeks to turn us against each other.
Let him speak.
Blackmailers? Pure fiction. She planned everything. You killed all those men at her behest.
That is impossible.
Sorry, Dettlaff. She used you. Part of her plan.
Caralho, é verdade, mano. Olha o plot twist aí. Plot twist carpado. Oxi.
You will come to Teshumutna and explain all. If you do not, I will raze Beauclair to the ground. This I promise you. You've 3 days. I shall be waiting.
He just fly off?
He did not wish to act rashly. He's gone to soothe his nerves.
Think he'll do it? Make good on his threat?
I cannot say. He can be unpredictable when fury consumes him.
I shall go to him.
Come again? After what he just...
You don't know Dettlaff like I do. If I don't do as he says, he truly will destroy the city. He's more than capable of it.
Ganhou consciência agora?
Conscience gets to you now?
Better... better late than never, right?
Well, it truly does seem the best option.
Your Grace, we must proceed with caution. Guardsmen saw vampires here. They could still be about.
Vampires or no vampires, my sister is here. Find her.
Your Grace, that...
Sienna, it's true. It's you. Sister, dear, what have you gotten yourself into? So concerned, I'm surprised. Is there an ounce of truth to it?
You feel resentment. I understand. But I promise we shall work through all the unfortunate matters of the past. We will discuss them later. Captain, escort Siana to the palace. I shall meet with her as soon as we return.
As you wish, Your Grace.
Até os vampiros elas conseguem ludibriar, né, ô seu Rafa?
And you, Witcher. You have my thanks. I cannot believe my sister was so near the whole time. Roderick of Duntine shall answer for treason and blackmail.
Roderick não tinha conhecimentos da chantagem. Deveria responder por ser uma mula, isso sim.
He's no traitor, just naive. Let himself be made a fool of. Paid dearly for it.
Made a fool? Whom by?
Your sister. She's the one convinced him to let the bandits into his home.
We've discovered Siana blackmailed the vampire. Ordered him to kill those men.
Então era ela que tava por trás de tudo, mano.
What nonsense is this?
She is his missing lover. Staged her own abduction to force him to do her bidding.
He was a tool. Whole scheme was
Oh, no.
Siana's. She was behind it.
You're mistaken. You must be. This cannot be true.
Your Grace, I know this vampire and...
What? You know him? Who is he?
Dettlaff.
The same who so recently sat at my table and told me of Nazaire. Is there anything else you've neglected to mention? A dragon living beneath Mount Gorgon, perhaps? Is anyone else here a vampire?
A puta, rainha.
Where is he now?
Waiting for Siana. If she doesn't show up to meet him by an appointed time, he'll destroy Beauclair.
He dares threaten us?
Your Grace, we have 3 days to bring him Siana and...
Not a word. You have 3 days to bring me his head. No more secrets. No more helping vampires. I want what I'm paying for. The head of the beast.
Aí não, né, tia? Porra.
Do you think Her Grace's nerves have been calmed?
But rarely forgets, rarely retracts what she says, especially around threats.
Yes, well, even I must admit Dettlaff's actions were highly inappropriate. Reprehensible, even. Are you upset?
Why would I be?
Let's see. You're returning from your hunt empty-handed. No trophy. No new lead to boast of, then pursue.
What can I say? It happens at times. Especially likely to when the monster I'm chasing can turn into fog.
How do your employers customarily react when you fail to meet their expectations?
It depends. Peasants cuss me out. Merchants demand I refund their deposit, whereas nobles mostly just release their hounds.
And rulers?
Usually threaten me with the gallows.
A most illustrious grace awaits the gentleman.
Your Grace, the population demands she be punished. Siana's committed terrible crimes. Spilt so much blood. They...
Another word, Palmerin, and I shall spill even more blood. Yours.
Ô, louco.
I repeat for the last time. Siana is responsible for the death of many, true. But she is also my sister. We are bound by blood and by a shared childhood. I shall not allow her to be lynched.
Your Grace, I fear the masses might rise. Storm the prison. Pitchforks and torches in hand.
Let them storm. They will not find her there. Siana is hidden away in a safe place. She shall await trial there until we have rid ourselves of this accursed vampire. Which, to judge by your means, has not yet come to pass.
Did what we could, but...
My patience is at an end, Geralt. Where is he? Where is Detlef?
No.
Don't know. I lost his trail.
Is this all you have to say?
I respect your grace. All I can say is the truth.
At times, I hunt foxes. Do you know how it works? The ducal huntsman releases the hounds. They catch the fox's scent, chase the animal down, and lead the Bachu to it. All within an hour. You, Witcher, have had a week. The aid of my most excellent knights. Yet, you have tracked absolutely nothing down. I've begun to suspect my
Ontem eu tava fazendo aquele tal de Discovery Tour do AC Origins só pra pegar a skin da Senu branca. Que decadência.
Como é que é? Como é que é? Ontem eu tava fazendo aquela tal de Discovery Tour do Assassin's Creed Origins só pra pegar a skin da Senu branca. Caralho, mano. Eles são muito fissurados nisso aí. Aí, ela me colocou contra a parede. O que eu digo? Vamos encontrá-lo cedo ou tarde. Talvez devesse invocar seus sabujos, então? Vampiros e raposas, presas em geral, apresentam certas diferenças básicas. A rainha quer porque quer, mano, se vingar. Eu não quero, mano. Tá resolvido já. Pra mim tá resolvido. Quero... Eu...
We'll catch him, your grace, sooner or later.
I should hope so, Witcher. For the sake of all Beauclair and yours. But to the matter at hand. Have you managed to establish anything?
Your Grace, it seems Siana tricked Detlef, used him to murder the knights who escorted her into exile. We have reason to believe that...
Ih, deu merda.
Your Grace! Vampires!
What? Speak now!
Vampires! They protect the city! Captain de la Tour defends the square near the boat landing, but... so many lives lost!
Ih, começou já o ataque dos vampiros. Meu amigo.
If it's war this Detlef wants, it's war he shall have. Geralt, get to work. This time I'll hear no excuses. Palmer and you...
Oxi.
Get her out of
Ó,
here.
até uma lâmina tem aqui, velho. Porra é essa? A lâmina tem que ser a armadilha. Mas não acaba nunca esse combo dela. Nossa, Acertou todo o combo, velho. Morre, Job.
Siana failed to appear as summoned. And there. Dettlaff is not making idle threats.
Seems not. Need to make some serious plans of our own now. It's gone too far, damn it. Regis, you mentioned there was a way to draw Dettlaff out. A way you've avoided resorting to so far because you thought it was too dangerous.
Is that how I put it? Do forgive me that I've misled you terribly. The word dangerous is simply a scandalous understatement in this case.
Regis, another inner monologue growing out of a personal dilemma. Just tell me how to flush Dettlaff out, force him to meet, please.
In due course. But first, Geralt, I'd like you to consider the alternative. After all, you could fulfill Dettlaff's demand and liberate his beloved Siana.
É, mano, só que a Lame, ela é muito forte e tem que pegar a manha do combo dela ali, né? Ah, Siana, o que exatamente você sugere que façamos? Acha que Dettlaff ainda acredita na inocência de Siana?
Think Dettlaff still believes Siana's innocent?
I believe he suspects something. He must. And he seeks to understand what happened.
And for that he's declared war on the entire duchy?
What can I say? Moderation was never his strong suit.
Really want to free Siana? Hand her over to Dettlaff? Refuse to accept you consider that wise.
It's hard to believe, I know. But Dettlaff is not actually evil, merely impulsive. He needs but meet with her, speak with her, and he will spare the city.
So say I agree to this, 'cause I might. Still no chance Anna Henrietta will.
I do not recall ever suggesting we ask her permission.
Siana não pode ser machucada. Pode garantir a segurança dela? Ah, mano, que se foda, Siana, velho. Só quero resolver esse dilema aqui.
Got serious reservations about this plan. Not least among them, we have no idea where Siana's being held. You heard the Duchess. She's not at the prison.
Hardly a reservation. More of an excuse. I'm certain you'll find her. You must merely decide you wish to.
Could ask Damien. Duchess treats him like a lapdog, keeps him close most times. He might know something more.
There, you see? I knew you'd think of something. Bravo.
The meeting. What if it's nothing like you say? What if it goes sour, ends in a fight? Willing to guarantee Sienna won't get hurt?
It seems unlikely in the extreme that...
Didn't ask for a lecture on probability. Need a simple answer. Yes or no.
I vow that not a hair on her head shall come to any harm. I trust I've dispelled your doubts, then.
Not so fast. We're not done talking. How would I go about luring Dettlaff out of hiding if I wanted to? With the blood of a virgin?
You see, somewhere nearby lives an unusual denizen, one of the unseen, ancient and powerful vampires, among the oldest and strongest.
And?
Toussaint is this unseen elder's territory. All vampires owe him fealty while they are here. He need but say the word, designate a time and place, and Dettlaff will be forced to appear.
So this unseen elder, how do we convince him to summon Dettlaff?
We must find him first. The elder does not see arrivals unless he absolutely must. But locals, Oriana, for instance, you know, she too is a...
Yeah, figured it out. All right, let's say she gets me in to see the unseen elder. What then?
I don't know. You'll have to improvise, I suppose.
So I'm basically stuck. Either gotta give in to a blackmailer, or fight him.
You know what I would opt for? Should we free Sienna and arrange for her to meet with Dettlaff, there's a good chance we'll all survive this ordeal. Dettlaff included.
Regis, don't mean to put you on the spot, but I gotta know. Say I do decide to fight Dettlaff. Who'll you stand with?
Should you decide your sword is the sole solution, I shall not stand in your way.
Appreciate it.
Certainly hope so. Now, please tell me, what is it you intend to do?
Olha aí a grande decisão. Tô pensando em libertar Sienna. Vamos falar com o Damien. Quero algo sem rodeios. Oriana, vamos achar ela. Se eu libertar Sienna, a rainha vai ficar puta da cara comigo, velho. Certamente eu não vou receber nada e ainda vão querer me matar aqui, velho. A Oriana, ela vai achar esse vampirão. Esse vampirão top aí. Ah, eu vou na primeira aqui, velho.
Crazy as the plan seems, I'll do it. I'll ask Damien about Sienna.
You won't make me beg. I knew you wouldn't.
Slow down. Not promising a thing. Just want to get a feel for the situation to start with. Coming with?
Of course. Many hands make light work. Hurry. Damien could be in danger.
Or dead.
Do you think so? He's seen battle-hardened. More than a few straps under his belt.
Against humans, not monsters.
Deixa eu ver se eu posso usar. Uma espada ali, mano. Ah, caralho, mais 40, mano. Puta merda. Vamos usar ela. A armadura é mais 5. Vou colocar umas pedrinhas. Aquela espada que eu tava era muito boa, mano. Ela, cada um que eu mato, ela me dá vida, velho. Cada um que eu mato, ela... Deixa eu ver. A arma se carrega de energia durante o combate. Quando ganha uma coloração vermelha... Ah, essa aqui é... que eu tava usando. É a espada de aço, a Iris. Muito boa, velho. Missão fracassada. Ah, foda-se. Siga Regis.
key to hire vampires calling commands.
As a rule, they don't.
So how'd Detloff sick them on the city?
Geralt, care to come back?
Caralho, tem uma lâmina aqui, velho. Pô, tu não vai me ajudar aqui, Regis? Pô, e aí, Regis?
Need to look around. Armor proved useless. Claws sliced through steel like through butter.
We must hurry. Each moment's delay means another death.
Armor proved useless. Claws sliced through steel like through butter.
We must hurry. Each moment's delay means another death.
They broke formation, ran.
That's it. It's Damien's blood. He was wounded.
Let's go. Barricade put up in the street.
Pointless. That's no obstacle to a vampire.
They didn't know. I didn't get a chance to prepare them. Barricade put up in the street. Fell on his face. Struck in the back. Tried to run.
They must have realized they could not hold this position.
Hope they found a corner to hide in. Won't be anyone to talk to if not.
Ai! Que porra é essa, velho? Eu não vou ficar brigando com essas duas lâminas aqui, mas nem fudendo. Pô, mano, o que tá acontecendo, velho?
Killed it? Single-handedly? That harlot's brood slaughtered half my unit.
I see the harlot's brood came close to slaughtering you as well.
Need to withdraw. You and your men. Now.
My duty lies with the city.
Won't help the city by leading your men to the slaughter. Damien, conversation back at the palace, remember? I'll say it again. Your men don't stand
ele avisou, né, mano?
Men, tend to the wounded.
Caralho, que foda, velho.
Doing the right thing. Now listen close. Silver. That's what you want to use against vampires. Your alchemists order them to produce as much vampire oil as they can. Churn it out in gallons. Then coat your blades with it. Keep an eye out for Alps and Bruxae. The shapely ones resemble women. There one moment, gone the next. Bombs containing silver splinters are a pretty good idea.
Thank you, Witcher. I hope you're worth the coin the Duchess pledged you. And that you'll return with the head of the wretch that did this, skewered on a hook.
Got a different plan.
And what would that be?
All I can say just now is I'm gonna need Syanna.
You know the Duchess's decision. Syanna awaits her trial, in custody.
We know it, but we do not agree with it.
You've that luxury. I do not. I've sworn my loyalty to her grace.
Folk are dying. Many more will, because of one.
If her grace learns I helped you, my head will roll.
And ours will follow right after it. Yet still we are prepared to take the risk. I fear we waste our time here. Come, Geralt.
Wait. When last I saw Syanna, her grace was escorting her to the palace playroom.
Playroom? As in, for children? You sure?
I've served in the ducal palace for years. I know it's every corner. So yes, I am damn sure.
Playroom? So what, Duchess locked Syanna up in a dollhouse?
Honestly, I've no clue. Look, I've told you what I saw. What you do with it is no concern.
Pô, ajudou pra caralho.
Got it. I'll look into it. You get back to your barracks. Retrace my steps. Path ought to be clear.
And you've our gratitude. You helped us a great deal.
I helped Beauclair. At least I hope I did.
Let's go, Regis.
Primeiro vampiro que eu vejo com o nome Regis. Nome comum.
Here, the playroom's beyond this door.
Caralho, que susto, velho. Bora, mano. Não pergunte a Oriana onde encontrar um ancião. Vamos perguntar aqui então, foda-se.
Locked. Of course. Regis, rather not have a fist fight with this door. Would you mind?
Not at all.
Treta essa parte da DLC sim, mano. Tu viu? Puta história doida, mano. Cadê a Oriana?
Utter silence. No one here.
We should look around at least.
Something inside? Nope. Empty.
Ih, mano, acho que ela tá morta aqui em cima.
A tin knight.
A rocking horse, rather worn. I suppose it got a lot of use.
A tin knight. Miniature tableware. And plush toys. Cute.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Wooden duck. Somebody broke its wings off. Nice tune.
Indeed, pleasant. It's a shame the mechanism's damaged.
What the? Found a notebook. Property of Isabelle de Roquefort, court governess. The notes of Siana and Anna Henrietta's governess when they were little.
I'm not sure it will help, but I suppose there's no harm in leafing through them.
Siana gave me a drawing today.
Charming.
Of freshly decapitated bodies covered in blood.
Perhaps not so much.
I asked her why ever she would draw such a thing. Her Highness claimed it was a rendering of nightmares which have plagued her for as long as she can remember. Siana does wake up screaming nearly every night, save when she shares a bed with Henrietta. Curse of the Black Sun. Supposedly girls afflicted by it had horrible dreams. Kind of horrible that made some of them go mad. The girls quarreled today. I must note rather sadly they did not behave as befits future ladies. The incident devolved into fisticuffs. Anna Henrietta was first to strike her sister. Siana gave back as good as she'd gotten. By the time I separated them, Henrietta had lost 2 teeth. She ran off to complain to her parents. His Grace the Duke refused to believe my version of events. He laid all the blame on Siana and vowed to punish the little one harshly. Henrietta did her best to have her sister's sentence commuted, but the Duke and Duchess proved unbending.
Once you're labeled a black sheep, it's so hard to shed that reputation.
Today I accompanied the girls for the first time to the land of 1,000 fables. We spent half the day there. First we played with Thumbelina, then with Barbarossa, who proved quite the charmer for a brigand and pirate.
I'm beginning to suspect Isabelle de Roquefort wrote in her diary after taking a powerful hallucinogenic. Cannabis rudularis, for instance, or...
Shh, don't interrupt. I tip my cap to Master Artorius Vigo for his achievement. He has proved he has no equal in the arcane arts.
Wait, Artorius was the court mage here, a specialist in illusions, which means...
Regis, last warning. Stop interrupting or I'll seat you in the corner. The girls told me if I ever wish to visit alone, I need but crack open the Land of 1,000 Fables and utter out loud the incantation Expecto Ludum.
A book as the key to an illusion. My, this grows more interesting by the minute.
Spectolodum.
Mages sent by the Conclave arrived today. They came to examine Siana. I cannot know what conclusions they drew, but His Grace now seems clearly upset.
Curse of the Black Sun. There's no doubt then that she was diagnosed with the syndrome symptoms.
Or had that label planted on her. It goes on. I dared ask the Duke what would become of the girl. He did not reply.
Carai.
I tutored the girls in Nilfgaardian today. Siana applies herself so, though she has great difficulty memorizing new vocabulary. Lady Henrietta seems more gifted in this regard, yet also prone to impish behavior. When she thought me out
A
of
pergunta
earshot,
é, cadê ela, mano? Cadê a Oriana?
She and Siana laughed so hard they almost choked. Blood is damned.
Salve aí, Matheus Rangel.
What's Kusa?
In the melodious tongue of our none too friendly...
Já voltei, mano.
The word describes the many-petaled flower
Home,
that blooms
sweet
in
home.
the place we so unmelodiously call the crotch.
Terminando essa DLC deliciosa aqui, mano, desse jogo. Cê é louco.
Realize this might sound improbable, but maybe, just maybe, Anna Henrietta tossed Siana into that illusion.
Ai, eu também!
Que demais.
Que demais! Ai, que delícia!
Where's that book?
Encontre o livro A Terra das Mil Faces.
Locked.
Frase mais falada do Geralt no jogo e na série.
Nice tune.
Indeed, pleasant. It's a shame the mechanism is damaged.
Well, a key tucked behind a picture.
Olha lá. Virou Resident Evil.
Nothing under the carpet.
Did you expect something? Apart from the dust swept under there by a lazy chambermaid.
This it? Let's see. Expecto ludum.
Spectolodon. Ai, que louco, velho. Montei o PC e não sei o que jogar. Ih, rapaz, entrei em alguma memória aqui.
Regis? Regis!
Montou o PC e não sabe o que jogar, Buzi. Deixa eu pensar, mano. Jogo novo, mano. Comprou o BF 2042? Pode jogar o BF 2042. Metro Exodus? Cara, eu nunca fui fã dessa franquia, velho. Eu acho que eu deveria dar uma chance, mano. Essa é uma franquia que eu tenho, digamos, zero, não zero, digamos assim, uns 5% de dar uma chance pra ela. Diferente de Mass Effect. Tipo, Mass Effect eu nunca joguei nenhum, mano. Eu tava afinzão de jogar os 3 aí. Pra PC. Outro que eu tô com um pouquinho de vontade de jogar é o Alien, mano. Esse último que saiu aí. Acho que é o Isolation. Mas eu não curto muito jogo de terror, velho. Eu não sei se me daria bem. Tá maluco? Não encontro meu dinheiro no lixo. Pois é, mano. Mas é um FPS massa, né, Buzi? Eu sei que tu curte FPS, mano. Joga aí e me diz o que tu acha. Valer a pena. Talvez eu vá, mano. Nossa, eu vim parar em Oz, mano. O Geralt tá em Oz. Com a galera muito no BF. Cara, eu gostei, velho. Aquele fim de semana que tava aberto lá. Nossa, eu joguei pra caralho, velho. Tava muito bom aquele BF, velho. Só que é que nem tu falou mesmo, pagar um zilhão de doletas ou bonoros por ele é foda. Vilarejo dos Duendes. What the fuck? Tem uns duendes aqui, mano. Caralho, Geralt, o que tu usou, mano? Ó. Caralho, o Geralt tá nas drogas, irmão. Vou ter que pular aqui. Aí jogo novo, mano, não sei mais o que tu poderia jogar, tipo... Jogo novo... Ah, tem o Cyberpunks. Não sei se tu já jogou Cyberpunks. Acho que eu vou dar uma chance pra ele agora aí no começo do ano aí. Joguei no PS5, mas larguei, não tinha como jogar. É, tu tá que nem eu, mano.
Bloody hell, let him out.
Voices.
He gobbled up my gingerbread. Now it's my turn to gobble him.
Tem até bruxa aqui, mano. Como assim? Não, o Metrô sempre foi uma série que é bonita, assim, né, mano? O gráfico é bem feito, o gráfico. Mas eu não sei o que se passa na história, né?
Hands off my hearth, dearie. You wouldn't want me to get cross. Then you open it. Now, who's this? A lost traveler?
E o The Witcher, mano, tu deu uma chance ou não? Eu lembro que parece que tu disse que nunca tinha jogado ele.
You're old and pale. But never worry. A bit of butter, a bit of spice, and you'll make a tasty morsel.
Dei 4 chances já. Ih, rapaz. Ó, vai torar aqui. Ah, tu tá que nem o seu Rafa que tava aí. Oxi. Caraca, mano, forte da porra. Ah, tem que dar uma explosão galáctica, né? Caraca, velho. Summonou um leão dourado, velho. Oxi. Cadê, velho? Tem que... Baixei o Semon e a ROM do Zelda. Ah, aí tá o jogo que tu tem que jogar, meu brother. O Zelda Breath of the Wild. É muito bom, mano. Eu joguei a versão de Wii U, Bose, e pra mim foi perfeito, mano. Talvez, acho que o teu PC é mais forte que o meu, talvez tu consiga rodar ele no emulador de Switch, mano. Dá uma pesquisada nisso aí, velho. É muito bom o jogo, velho. Que jogo bom, velho. Esse Zelda Breath of the Wild. E outra, né, mano? No Wii U ele rodava 30 FPS. No PC eu rodei 60 cravado. Ele rodava mais, tá ligado? Mas eu deixei 60 cravado. Até isso me deu problema em um boss, velho. Tipo, a 60 FPS eu não conseguia matar o boss. Ele bugava lá. Aí eu tive que baixar pra 30 FPS só nesse boss pra matar ele. Depois colocar 60. Mas o jogo é bom pra caralho, velho. Nossa, um dos melhores jogos que eu joguei já. Suspiro do Vento. Pô, o que tu summonou agora? Caralho, summonou 2. Caralho, aí é foda. Caraca, velho. Ah, tem que mudar aqui a proteção, mano. Vou morrer, cara. Puta que pariu, velho. Vou ficar esquivando, tá enchendo minha vida aqui. Caraca, velho. Porra, mano, que bagulho chato, velho. Porra, o bicho não dá uma chance, velho. Caraca, velho. Agora eu tenho que trocar pra explosão yard de novo. Ah, não, velho. Carrega, porra. Carrega, caralho. Ah, errei de novo. Comprei 2 anos de VPN, agora a pirataria não tem limites. Ah, mano, tu se liga aí, mano. Sabe que o bagulho aí é tenso, né? Caraca, não consigo derrubar ela, mano. Vem. Ah, sério, velho. Ah. GG.
What the hell was that?
The Wicked Witch. You've heard of her, haven't you? Now, where did you put that key?
Listen, how'd you come by a weapon?
It's Prince Charming's. He no longer
VPN tem que tancar sim, mano. Eu sei que tanca VPN, mas se um dia tu esquecer alguma coisa, mano. É foda, né, mano? Tu mora aí no... Tu mora no país das possibilidades financeiras, né, mano? Se não for um dos, é o melhor país com poder de compra que existe, né, mano? Então tu piratear não tem porquê, tá ligado?
Beans. What beans?
Try not to interrupt. Well, Jack, where are they?
Sienna, I'm sorry, but I haven't got them.
Oh, something tells me you're lying. Perhaps you wish to play the old games after all, hmm? This little piggy went to market. This little piggy went home, for instance.
I'm telling the truth. I swear it. Henrietta, she ordered them buried all over so you wouldn't be able to leave.
Where?
I don't know. But Joss, the boy with the thing for wolves, he should know. He sticks his nose in everyone's
Medieval
face.
Destiny. Nem sei do que se trata. Vai lá, vai lá. Bom jogo aí. Joguinho de criar vilas. Nossa, eu odeio esse tipo de jogo, velho. Tipo StarCraft. Não é que eu odeio, mano, sei lá.
All right. So why
Acho
is
sem
it
graça.
here?
Mas, né? Por isso que tem tudo que é tipo de jogo. Então, o que traz você aqui?
Came to free you.
Nice of you, but a waste of your effort. I plan to free myself.
You might not. Bound to be easier with my help, as our most recent adventure amply showed.
Mm-hmm. Yet I still don't know why you even give a damn.
It's Dettlaff. He's trying to force Anna Henrietta's hand. Wants her to release you. Summoned monsters to attack Beauclair.
Sounds like Dettlaff, all right. But I doubt you came all this way just to bring me up to speed on current events. So get to the point, please.
Isn't it obvious? Offering to be your ally. We both want you out of here. You because you want your freedom back. Me because as soon as you meet with Dettlaff, he'll put an end to the chaos in the city.
You exposed me. I landed in prison because of you. Now you come to beg my help, I dare say. My life is full of surprises, isn't it? Well, normally I'd tell you to sod off. But, from what you say, folk are dying who have nothing to do with this. Not part of the plan. Dettlaff was only to kill those who deserved it. No one else. Fine, Witcher. I accept your offer. Consider us allies. Shake on it.
A gente podia selar essa parceria de outro jeito. O que você acha?
Since you brought it up, the knights Dettlaff killed. What exactly did they do to you? Crespi, Dulac, Lacroix, Peyrac Peyran?
Not a memory I enjoy revisiting, but I suppose you deserve to know. When my parents disowned me, they ordered those very knights to escort me beyond the duchy's borders. All did so without uttering a single word in my defense.
Like you said, they had their orders.
Mm-hmm. But Crespi was not ordered to beat me unconscious with a horsewhip after my first attempted escape. And Dulac had no instructions to deny me food and abuse me. I learned something then. Knights are not so chivalrous when no one's watching.
That explains a lot.
Shocked, aren't you? You must have thought you had me pegged. Before bothering to hear my side. Everyone does that.
Curse of the Black Sun. That's why you were banished, right?
Mm-hmm. Twisted princesses, mutants. I'm certain you've heard of us.
Even met one of you. Renfrey of Craden.
And? Was she truly monstrous?
She was cruel, that's certain. But what caused it? The curse or what she went through? Asking myself to this day.
You killed her, didn't you?
Had no choice.
Funny. Mum said the same when she tossed me out of the house.
So, what's with the beans? Mind explaining?
Certainly. But you must gird yourself with patience. There are two ways out of this land. My darling sister blocked one when she tossed me in here. The other's up there, in the clouds. She made it hard, but not impossible to access by concealing the beans.
Still don't understand.
Don't fret, just listen. That boy, that was Jack, of Beanstalk fame. You know the tale?
Jack climbed a gigantic beanstalk to a giant's castle, high up in the clouds.
As we shall do if we can just find those blasted beans. There are 3. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 yellow.
Stalk won't sprout from just one?
No, because it must transpire exactly as it did in the tale. Clear now? So we must find Joss. Perhaps he will be able to help us. You lead.
Né? O Geralt tá com o João e o pé de feijão.
Joss can usually be found wandering the glade at the foot of the mount. It's some distance from here, past the witch's house to the right. So, what exactly is happening in the city?
Bloodshed, a massacre. which is why we gotta hurry.
You needn't fret. Time flows differently in the Fable Sphere. We can stay here a week, yet outside mere minutes will have passed. Watch out! Pixies! I shall butcher you!
Friendliest pixies I've met.
They were put here to protect the Fable Sphere from intruders. Meaning you. Oh, unicorns! We must catch them. We won't have to walk everywhere then. I call the pink one. Exciting, isn't it? Reminds me of my childhood.
Reminds me of something altogether different.
Care to elaborate?
Rather not.
Ah, que viagem é essa, velho? Que viagem é essa, velho?
They're going to rip them in six.
Ah, tem sempre dois, mano. Nunca tem um sozinho, velho.
Relax, it's over.
No, it's not. There's more. Another wolf behind you. Ignore him. He always lies.
Aha. Boy who cried wolf. Still does, I suppose. And doesn't, when they actually appear.
The one and only. Listen, you little chit. Jack said you know what's become of his 3 beams. I don't know anything! Not one thing, and besides, watch out! Wolves!
This'll be interesting. Right, let's get to it. Let's say for a minute you know what happened to the red bean. Where wouldn't it be?
For certain, no one swallowed it. Oh no, definitely not that. Of course not. But say someone didn't. Who would it be that didn't swallow it? A human. The most human-y human in the land of 1,000 fables. Everyone! Wolves! Run!
Bet you haven't heard what happened to the blue bean. Maybe? Not at all? Right?
I've heard it lies about somewhere, out in the open.
Just like that? No one guarding it?
Nobody. 3 times over. Help! Wolves!
Yellow bean. Don't know a thing about it, right?
It's somewhere very, and I mean very deep. So deep, in fact, it's completely underground. And who has it? A bold farmhand, who in no way and not at all awaits someone. Not in the slightest. Good folk! Wolf! Say that word one more time and I'll chop you up. Feed you to the fishes. Understood?
right. We should go.
Watch out for wolves!
Viajou total DLC agora.
Pois é, mano. Tava.
Tough to talk to, that one.
Was it, though?
Sei lá,
You need
mano.
merely remember he always lies. Or more precisely, reverses the truth.
Where to now?
I'm not sure. We should visit some of the other fables. The meaty ones, that is. Perhaps then Joss's hints will make more sense. It's just a few. Red Riding Hood, Piglets and Bears, 3 of each. And Goldilocks, of course. Then Longlocks, and a
Nossa,
little
velho.
lass who sells flint.
Fine. Let's get to work.
Meu Deus, cara.
Incredible. You must have loved this place.
I did at first. But children get bored quickly. Even tea parties with a whole cackle of princesses eventually turn dull and routine.
What did you do then?
Dropped a duck egg in the swan's nest once, that sort of thing. Stole the pea out from under the princess, who sleeps to this day, I think.
Parece que foi a primeira vez, mano, na DLC de antes e agora, que eu tenho o sentimento que parece que quiseram dar uma esticada no jogo, tá ligado? Aí colocaram isso aqui nada a ver, mano, com a DLC, velho. Tava mó sério com o vampiro e pau, bagulho da hora. Aí prenderam ela dentro de um conto de fadas e eu tive que entrar no conto de fadas, não em um, em vários. Eu vou ir nos Três Porquinhos, na casa da vovó. Vou ter que fazer todo esse rolê aqui pra poder tirar ela daqui, mano. Caralho, velho. Nada a ver, mano.
Oh look! The Emperor of Nilfgaard! He's come out to show off his new robe.
My new attire reveals itself but to the wise and cultured.
Deixa eu ver qual que é o mais perto aqui. Ah, não dá nem pra abrir o mapa, velho. Cadê o meu unicórnio? Cadê você, mano?
Faster! Come on, you... Know what? They need names.
Ah, mano, vou esquipar esses bonecos aí, foda-se. Ó, aqui tem um, ó. Nossa, e tem missão secundária aqui, mano, pra pegar, ó.
Contract from a goose. That's new.
Do you really aim to concern yourself with that?
A true witcher should never abandon poultry in distress.
Care for a cigarillo? A bit of tobacco? A dab of fistek?
Remind me, what tale are you from?
Sold flints when I was a lass. But no one bought them, so I branched out. Now I deal in snuffs, puffs, all sorts of fun things. What'll you have, sweeties?
É, mano, eu também acho, mano.
If it's not the new name of some kicker I already have, dearies, then no. But maybe you'd like some.
Hey, where'd you get that ribbon? That's mine.
Is that so? Then why was it lying in the bushes? Finders keepers, sweetheart.
Puta rolê, mano, pra pegar esses 3 feijões mágicos, velho. Por que o laço é tão importante?
The ribbon. Mind explaining what the fuss is about?
There's not much to explain. I got it from Aturius Vigo when I was a child.
Numa personagem que apareceu no final, nada a ver, né? Essa mina aí.
It clearly didn't work, given how I ended up.
But it means a lot to you.
How should I put this? I have so few mementos from my childhood, and the ribbon reminds me of the good old days, when I was someone else.
Dears, could you continue this touching scene elsewhere, hmm? You're scaring away my customers.
Até o gato de botas ali, tu viu, mano?
Give Sienna the ribbon. Why not, huh?
Sugar plum. The only thing I hand out for free is a first hit. To get them to come back for a second, of course. For all else, you've got to pay.
What if I asked you nicely?
Ask me nicely and I might play you for it. A round of
Ah,
cards.
mano, sério, velho.
Fine, I'll pay you for the ribbon. This enough?
Jura que eu vou jogar Gwent com ela, velho. E ainda não é ela que tem feijão, mano. Eu vou ter que... Meu Deus, velho. Agora ficou chato pra caralho, velho.
All right. Tell me
What?
what you want in return. You're not doing this out of the kindness of your heart.
Don't want anything in return.
Thank you.
Ai, eu fiz são 5 pessoas que eu tenho que visitar. Então 2 vão ser erradas. Deixa eu pegar meu unicórnio de novo aqui.
Come on.
Watch out, pixies! Oh, the 3 little pig songs. You need a story, don't you? Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Looks like Big Bad's already blown down the houses of straw and sticks. Brick's the only one left.
We should look inside. Remember Joss's words?
One bean lies out in the open, guarded by 3 nobodies. Yeah, could be it.
Nossa, mano, eu vou ter que lutar com os 3 porquinhos, velho. Acredite se quiser.
Watch, they didn't like that.
Minha espada tá quebrada ainda, velho. Eu tenho bagulho de consertar? Acho que eu tenho. Ainda assim ela tá quebrada, velho. Beleza. Ver se eu não tenho outra espada pra... Eu tenho essa aqui, menos 40, mas não tá quebrada. Talvez dê mais dano.
The big bad witcher huffed and puffed, and look, got a bean.
It cannot be.
What cannot be?
You actually have a sense of humor.
Stunted a bit, but yeah, it's there.
Well, well, aren't you full of surprises? What else are you hiding behind that gruff exterior?
Not a bad singer. Do a pretty mean rendition of The Maids of Vicovaro, for instance. But some other time, maybe.
But here we are chatting away when there's work to do. We must keep looking. So, you like it here?
No, got a problem with magic in general. Illusions, portals, all that. Don't trust any of it.
A bow of old-fashioned tastes, eh? I like that.
Doesn't seem to be at home.
Whoa!
Hello? Can we talk?
Schwungbroch, my head! Damn it all! I swear that was the last time I drank with Redbeard. Oh, Sienna, a bloody long time it's been. You've changed.
Whereas you, not at all, big bad wolf. Though it seems you've started running with the wrong crowd.
And who should I run with, eh? Thumbelina? One shot and she's under the table. But, what brings you?
You could always have a drink with us.
Oh, what now? Not on your life. I can barely stand, I'm so hungover.
You know what they say about the hair of the dog?
Out of the question. And why must you drink? Do you wish to drown some sorrow? And I don't mean to pry, but you don't look much like a young duchess to me.
They stripped me of my title and birthright, then banished me. A family spat, let's say.
Listen, looking for magic beans. Seen any?
I was given one for safekeeping, but...
Where is it? Talk!
Shh, not so loud.
Oh, I can be much louder than this. And resort to other means of persuasion.
Right there, the threats. Sienna to a T. Listen, I exist to restage a fairy tale. If you want to play at it, I'll be happy to oblige. But it won't be easy. The thing is, Little Red Riding Hoods popped her clogs.
What?
1,000 times they cut my gut open, filled it full of rocks and drowned me in the river. So once you stopped coming, I decided to repay the little imp for all her loving labor. Now what's at the bottom of the well, she and the hunter, which means we can't play, and I'm under no obligation to talk to you, not about beans, nor anything else. So leave me be. Sod off.
Wolf's pretty cranky.
Surprised? Think about it. He was cast in the role of the Nemesis without ever asking for it. It's a dog's life, I tell you.
So, what now?
Don't worry. I'll play with him. Or rather, play him. I just need that little red hood. The piece of apparel, that is. Not the poor girl's corpse.
That's a relief.
You wish to help me? Here's your chance. Jump in the well and fish it out. Well, chop chop. That's one beam down. Good work.
All right. Time to jump in the well.
Break a leg. Any luck?
Yep. Look what I got.
That would never fit you. Give it to me. How do I look?
Que aquilo, mano? Um cavalo com um cachorro em cima, com um gato em cima e um galo em cima, mano. Que porra é essa, velho? Tá mal.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Let's go see the big bad wolf.
Let me guess. You'll play the granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. And you, the hunter.
Ah, sério.
You again? I thought I was clear. I will not talk to you if little Red Riding Hood is not with you.
Not a problem. Sienna can take her place.
What? Very well. It's not as if I can forbid you. Granddaughter, come closer, sweetie.
Esse lobo é doidão, mano.
What big eyes you have.
The better to see you with, my dear.
Granny, what big arms you have.
The better to embrace you with, my dear.
And grandmama, what big teeth you have. Eh?
The better to eat you with, my dear.
Eu não consigo fixar nele, mano. Caraca, mano, tira muito.
I shall butcher you. what Joss said about the red bean. A human has it, and he definitely didn't swallow it.
Mm-hmm. Gotta open his belly. Bottle caps, fake teeth, a corkscrew. Ah, here it is. Red bean.
Well then, one step closer to our goal.
What?
Now, I find myself wondering if you're just horribly discreet, or if those mutations completely scrubbed away your curiosity. Are you really not interested in what happened? In what became of me after they cast me out?
Well, since you brought it up, I'd gladly hear the rest. Let's see. They'd escorted you out of the duchy.
Yes. And the noble knights of Toussaint, I didn't stop until we reached the Ketdu wilderness. They left me there alone, without a copper, in a torn lace dress, right when the frosts were setting in. They assumed something would eat me, or that I'd do everyone a favor and die of hunger. But as always, I failed to live up to expectations. I wandered the woods for a week, went purple from the cold, gnawed the bark from twigs. Finally, I saw a light among the trees. A campsite. They were bandits, bearded, drunk, spattered with blood. I was sure they'd rape me or kill me. Or both.
Take it neither happened?
That's when I learned a robber and a murderer can be a better man than a knight in shining armor. They took me in, we set off for Nazaire, and I did what I could to repay them. I advanced in their ranks rather quickly. And eventually, I became their leader.
Caralho.
Of the whole ragged band.
História fodida dela, mano. Mas devesse ter ficado lá.
Should have stayed there, maybe.
Perhaps. Perhaps I should have forgotten everything, started a new life. But you know what? There came a point when I thought, you wanted a monster. Then a monster you shall get.
Been through a lot.
I have. And throughout this time, my sister was stomping grapes and shagging minstrels on down bedding.
She wasn't the one to banish you.
And I'm not angry at her for that. I'm angry at her because she forgot about me. Right. We've had our chat. Come.
Tem alguma coisa aqui na casa dele? Vamos ver. Comida mágica. Ouro mágico. Sobe na porra do cavalo, caralho. Sobe no cavalo.
Damn, you're ugly.
Stunning, are they not? My new robes absolutely.
Slower. This Longlog's tower?
Indeed. It's even taller than I remembered.
Wait. What Joss said about the third being, remember?
In the possession of a bold farmhand somewhere deep beneath the ground. This must be it. Let's go.
Will-o'-the-Wisp. It's got something to show us.
Caralho, a Rapunzel virou um monstro, velho. Ai, ai, ai. Nossa, ela deu rege em toda a vida dela, mano. Essa Rapunzel que tá o demônio, rapaz. E não é aqui, mano, que tá o... Tá o feijão, eu acho. Vamos ver. Bola de ouro. Puta, Rapunzel se enforcou no próprio cabelo, mano. Que bagulho louco. Brinquedos caros. Não, tá aqui o feijão, ó. Feijão amarelo. Boa. Tem alguma coisa aqui? Vamos ver. Porque aqui eu posso pular na água lá. Deixa eu ver. Será que eu ouso? Morri. Ah, não tem água aqui. GG.
So?
Got the bean, but long logs. Seems she got sick of waiting for a knight in shining armor.
Can you blame her? Men these days, dandies and fops all.
That why you cozied up to a vampire?
Detlef was a tool, and only a tool.
Too bad he didn't know that.
I trust no one. Learned that long ago. Now it's his turn.
To use him. Was that your plan from the start?
No. At first, I was simply intrigued. Do you know the story? It was in Metina, a few years past. I'd gone there to pass some loot off to a fence I know. We were hashing out the terms when in walked Detlef. He said he'd come to sell a silver candlestick. He gripped it through a cloth. That caught my eye. I followed him out, observed him from a distance, but he caught on quickly.
Yeah, superhuman senses will do that.
He turned down a blind alley. I followed. He jumped out from behind a crate, baring his teeth. I suppose he'd wanted to frighten me. Alas, he didn't in the least. After all, I'm a monster too, am I not?
Eu vou pegar um café, o seu Rafa, no banheiro. Já volto aí, mano. Por incrível que pareça, deu uma melhoradinha agora, essa história. Vamos ver. Já volto aí. Pegar um café. I'm back. O que aconteceu depois? Bora.
What happened then?
We talked, then met up once, twice, 3 times. Enough that he became infatuated. I truly enjoyed it at first, but only at first. He did not love like a man, but like an animal, madly, deeply, unconditionally, wildly. To return such a feeling, anyone would be hard-pressed, let alone someone as twisted as I am.
So there came a day you just up and disappeared.
Yes, there was no other way. Let's just be friends, or I don't deserve you. He'd never have understood that sort of thing.
Claro, né, filho? Ele é um vampiro.
Then, once I decided to return, clean up some old affairs, I remembered him and concluded he could still be of use.
Playing with fire, that.
Definitely. And either I'll get burned or I'll burn all else down. No other options.
Got a history with Dettlaff now, so this meeting will be different. Not afraid?
I can handle him.
Mm-hmm. Sure about that?
You look at him as a witcher and see a monster. I know what he's really like. You needn't worry. It's time to go. Just a bit more work and we'll be able to say sort off to this fecking fable sphere. Now we must plant them by the path near Longlock's tower. Then prepare to meet the giant.
Vai ter um gigante, mano. Ver se eu consigo. Minha armadura quebrou também. A Rapunzel forte pra porra, mano. Plante os feijões mágicos. Sério, mano? É isso, velho? Ai, ai.
How you like that?
This is the spot. Pull out the beans. Wait.
Why?
The stalk will sprout abruptly. Very abruptly. We must be careful. All right, toss them.
Ué?
Something's always gotta go wrong.
The home stretch.
Um ano depois. Ah, agora vai ter o gigante, né, mano?
Incredible.
Admire the view later. First, we must deal with... him.
Fudeu. Oxi. Acho que eu tenho que fazer ele tomar choque aqui.
Fairy tale creature. That was one tough son of a wench.
I told you this land had gone ape mad, though I did not expect it to be so severe.
Can't help thinking you might have done that on purpose.
Why ever would I have?
To get rid of your guard, your captor. Getting close to the exit at this point. Probably think you don't need me anymore.
Well, you're wrong. You still stand to be quite useful to me.
That so? How? Plan to use me like you did Detloff?
No, I need you for a purpose far simpler.
Ah lá. Ih, rapaz.
Well, don't just stand there and stare. I need a man, Geralt, and I'm not afraid to say it. I have no idea what awaits me once we leave this place. Treat it as my last wish.
Bora. Bora. Pega. Pega. Pega que ela é uma mulher foda. Em todos os sentidos. Ih, rapaz, lá vem o Ban. Lá vem o banda Twitch. Caralho, essa mulher hipnotiza mesmo, mano. Ó. Geraldão tá doidão. Olha lá o beijo do Homem-Aranha. Geraldão. Fogou o ganso. Não, fogou o ganso o jogo inteiro, mano. Fogou agora na DLC. Grande Geraldo. Geraldo de Rivia.
Just gonna go our separate ways? No parting words?
Did you wish to tell me something?
Actually, that'd probably be best.
Oh my. No woman's ever treated you this way.
Nada como transar do lado de gigante morto.
Felt what so many women in this world feel at times.
I just hope this tale has a happy ending. For me, for you, for everyone.
That may very well depend on you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing beyond what you heard.
Geraldão é brabo, rapaz.
Come. The exit's this way.
Porra, não peguei a Tris, mano, no jogo base. Não peguei ninguém, velho. Respeitando a Yennefer, velho. Aí eu peguei a Yennefer uma vez só no jogo, velho. As duas espadas quebradas, velho. Habilidade do item. Não consigo criar, mano. Aqui. Criação de itens. Deixa eu ver se eu não consigo criar os bagulho aqui. Pedra. Acho que não. Só nos... Só consigo criar os bagulho que recupera as armas. Ah, não. Kit de reparo de armas. Aqui, ó. Ixi. Você não pode forjar itens aqui. Apenas ferreiros podem forjar armas. E apenas armeiros podem forjar... Ai. Reparo de armas também não posso forjar. Beleza. Sou burro, devia ter feito muito mais disso.
Hello, Geralt. Witcher.
Another will-o'-the-wisp. Just curious. Why do you want the Heart of Toussaint and the ducal wine?
They were my right, my due.
Doubt we would have figured you out if you hadn't tried to get them. Know that, don't you?
I do, and I regret nothing. One lives but once. Here, we meet but jump into the well. You first.
Portals in a fountain? Not terribly practical.
It was a secret passage. Henriette and I would use it to...
Hide from your governess, which luckily she noted down in her diary, thus I knew where to await you. Never mind that. Has the young lady agreed to help clean up the mess she's made?
She has. And stop treating me as if I were a child.
Would you prefer I treated you like the lying manipulator you are?
Eita porra!
Calm down, both of you.
But...
No buts. Let's go. Really want to be done with this.
Imagina se o Deathlatch descobre que eu passei a rola nela, mano. Porra. O bicho ia pegar. Tô achando que eu vou ter que decidir entre o Deathlatch e ela, mano. Quem que vai morrer, tá ligado?
Nice place,
isn't it?
Agora foi a vez do Vamp dizer: fica quieto e cala a boca.
Bem nessa, seu rap.
Is it though?
Eu gostei dela, mano. As mulheres do jogo do The Witcher 3 são muito fortes, mano. Em todos os sentidos.
Honestly, what did Dettlaff ever see in you?
Perhaps he'll tell you himself.
Nervosa, Siana?
You nervous?
Mm-hmm. It's always a bit nerve-wracking meeting an ex. And especially so when set X is a vampire.
Isso é verdade.
I doubt he'll be in the mood for jests.
I know.
May I be honest? Yes, I'm nervous. I really would prefer just to run off.
I gave my word I would help, I know. But how much is that worth? Yet I owe him this meeting. And that is that.
Let's get ready. Dettlaff will be here any moment now.
Ó o bicho vindo, moleque.
Siana, I have a question I must ask you. Did you truly feign it all? That which bound us was a ruse?
Dettlaff, it's not that simple.
Oh no, it's very simple. You either deceived me or not. In forgiving you, I grieve. For now, we must part.
Push.
But how?
The ribbon.
Ha! Seems I've been fooled again. She will pay for this, sooner or later. She will pay! You never should have meddled with her.
Ih, rapaz, o bicho tá puto. Calma, mano, eu tentei te ajudar, mano. Porra. Ajude Regis e lute contra Dettlaff. Prepare-se para a luta. Prepare-se para a luta. Puta, ele vai matar o... Vai matar o Regis, mano. Será?
Both of you!
Any of it.
Ah, porra, menor.
Acknowledge any gods. Start praying now.
É. Caraca, velho. Caraca, o bicho é muito forte, mano. Porra.
Nice place,
isn't it?
Is it? Perhaps.
Let's... The ribbon.
Deixa eu ver o que eu posso usar aqui, mano. Eu não posso criar nada aqui, velho.
was just the last. Both of you!
Didn't plan any of it.
Silence! If you acknowledge any gods, start praying now.
Velho. Será que ele fica sempre nessa forma, mano?
Die, Witcher!
Eita porra, menor. Foi mal, velho. Foi mal, Detilato. Todos os buffs que eu usei o jogo inteiro, mano. Que eu não usei o jogo inteiro, eu usei nesse. Caralho.
Leave him to me. Be gone.
I can't let...
I insist.
Que louco, velho. Valeu, Regis. Tenso.
My, what a smashing ensemble. You wear it well.
Shut up. I look like a twit.
The caftan is sewn of the best fabrics available, and according to the best tailoring practices. But one must have a modicum of taste to appreciate this. Even the most exquisite robes cover only deficiencies in beauty, never in refinement.
Pesado, né, mano? Tô acostumado a vestir algo diferente.
Usually wear something different, better suited to my trade. Got nothing against this particular outfit, though. Just don't exactly feel comfortable in it. And I despise formal occasions.
Pô, eu também acho, seu Rafa, totalmente desnecessário. Se não tivesse lá, ou fosse mais curto, tá ligado? Só entrar lá e já pegar ela, não. É toda aquela função de pegar os feijões e tal. Chato.
The Duchess cannot be expected to drape the medal on a suit of armor caked in mud.
Que isso, Geralt? Fecha os braços, mano.
Places enormous emphasis on form, virtuous tradition, etiquette.
Huh. A tradition which values appearances ahead of all else. Which calls for lordly, glistening triviality and misplaced generosity.
Posso sentir aquele clima filosófico se for.
Sound wistful. Pensive, Regis. That because they refuse to buy you a new outfit?
Hardly. It's the tone I ever adopt when I find myself pondering, which, believe it or not, happens quite a lot.
O Regis é foda pra caralho, mano.
Besides, I've no need for a new outfit as I shall not be attending the
Acho que ele é de outro The Witcher, velho. Porque quando eles se encontram, eles falam: Nossa, quanto tempo? Achei que você tinha morrido, não sei o quê.
I trust you'll join me later, once you're richer by a medal and a fascinating new experience.
Count on it.
Tá com ciúme o Regis, mano.
Ceremonies, medals honoring virtues, just keeps coming up.
I've had no reprieve either. And I keep thinking of the last great virtue, compassion. It's the one piece of the puzzle that never seemed to fit.
Mean you suddenly believe the 5 virtues theory, after all we've revealed?
It's not a question of belief, superstition, or old wives' tales. It's a conclusion derived through exercising pure logic. Syanna planned everything in advance. Had we not stopped her, surely there'd have been a 5th victim. One the gossips would have associated with a lack of compassion.
Her plans don't matter now. Can't act on them. Ask the messenger who delivered my invitation to the ceremony. Sienna's in the palace. Courtiers pressured the Duchess to lock her in a tower.
Do you care not a whit who else was in her black book? We've some time before the ceremony. We could still chat with that boot-cleaning urchin. He was the one to pass the victims' names to Dettlaff. Perhaps we missed something.
Precisamos falar com o Engraxate. Não é uma boa ideia falar com o Engraxate. Vamos nos encontrar lá. Não há motivo para continuarmos investigando. Sabe que o Engraxate entregou.
Regis, Bootblack didn't say anything about making deliveries when we talked to him. How do you know he handled the letters?
While you basked in glory and tried on new formal wear, I conducted a little investigation of my own. You'd be very proud to see how I conducted myself. I began by concocting an ample supply of boot wash for our enterprising young friend. I'd observed that among street folk, amidst their society as a whole, reciprocity takes precedence over all other codes, and thus no good deed goes unrewarded. Of course, the same holds true for malicious or destructive deeds.
The letters, what's the connection?
When the bootblack arrived to collect his bucketful, he hinted he knew more. Simply put, we'd failed to ask the proper questions when we chatted earlier. It took a bit more tongue-loosening, but ultimately he spoke. He admitted he'd handed Dettlaff the letters. He knew this information was valuable to me. In providing it, he was simply repaying me.
E agora, mano? Eu investigo mais ou não investigo? Acho que eu vou falar que a gente se encontra depois lá, mano. Que isso deve ser uma missão secundária já. Esse aqui mesmo.
Could be worth checking with the Bootblack again. Meet you by a stand.
Fine. I shall await you there. Shoot the breeze with the charming lad to pass the time.
The Bootblack? In the lower city? Intend to soil my masterpiece in the city's gutters?
Ó, o Masterpiece aí, ó. Tu que gosta de falar Masterpiece, eu... Cerimônia estranha. Fale com o Engraxate durante o dia. Fale com Demian. Ah, eu disse que ia lá depois e mesmo assim ele mandou ir lá agora, mano. Cerimônia estranha com polpa esquisita. Cerimônia estranha com polpa esquisita. Opcional. Fale com opcional. Então é opcional o bagulho. Agora eu fiquei curioso, mano, pra saber qual é que é, velho. Tem que ter alguma coisa ali, mano. Eu vou lá. Foda-se.
Wow! What a brute!
A jump is like a lady. You can always get a new one.
If I weren't just a lowly guardsman.
Do you like it here? He's not here. That's the butcher of Blaviken.
No doubt it rained gold for you after you killed the beast.
Our hero, the Beast Slayer.
A coin, or I'll spew on your boots.
Oh, Lepiota's lips.
I agree completely, young man. Lois is clearly more adhesive than Loam. Greetings, Geralt.
Oh, it's the swordsman. Good to see you. Here for a spiffing? Dirty boots are a stain on professional dignity, you know. Step on up.
Need to ask you something.
Yet again? Go on then. I'm a proponent of free speech and I will gladly tell you all I know. But why not get your boots shanked while we jabber?
Guess they could use a spit and polish.
Then I shall take advantage as well. A friend of mine used to say boots should be as clean as the soles that wear them.
Clean boots, clean soles. A fine slogan.
How's business?
Well enough. I can't complain. Though it'd be even better were certain folk to sit down for a shine as they stood and chatted.
Man in the frock coat. You passed him some letters, remember?
Why, of course. I'm young, got a mind like a steel trap, but...
If you're about to tell me this information will cost me, forget it. How'd you get those letters?
Beggars brought them.
Why didn't you tell us this before, when we first talked?
You didn't ask about beggars now, did you?
Beggars. Tell us more about them. How many were there?
Why, 4. 1 for each letter.
Just 4? Sure you didn't get a 5th?
I can't count, you know.
Remember anything else? These beggars have anything in common?
What? Come now. Each was different. Some had mismatched boots, others had no boots at all. Oh, I know! They all had no home!
Kid, my patience is starting to run a little thin. Now think hard. Where'd they get the letters? They pick them up? Get them from someone?
I don't know. They'd come, hand me a letter, and walk away. I asked no questions.
Geralt, allow me to ask a question. Listen, lad. I'll be glad to mix another batch of that boot shine for you. But you must focus now and tell us all you know. Where can we find the beggars?
Well, at the shelter, most like.
Where's that?
Everyone knows. It's just round the corner. Up those stairs, then right.
Thanks, kid. For your trouble. We must visit the shelter. Look around inside.
A courtesan is like a rat catcher. Good for when the You've to move your little camp elsewhere, got it? This is a You? What do you want?
To talk.
Here, that's a waste of breath. We've tried it, only to tire our lips. We'll use other means of persuasion now.
Gentlemen, calm, please.
Either get out along with these flea-ridden vagabonds, or we'll toss you all out. Our patience is gone. This place is no longer a rank refuse dump.
Scram! Decent folk live here.
The shelter, them living here, bothers you. Question is why?
Look, Ballard. Another defender of the poor. Fighter for justice.
Damn nuisance. We've our women and young folk living next door, when even grown men fear to walk past such rabble.
Decent folk you mention. Mean yourselves.
Why? Do you doubt it?
Hell yes.
Hear that, Artois? He poking insults us. On our own turf.
We should step aside, good fellow. My friend is perfectly capable of settling this unfortunate dispute on his own.
Vai rolar uma pancadaria aqui, mano. Pô, os caras só dão um golpe forte, mano.
Not good.
I'll break your guts around your spine. All right. I can take a hint. Come, time to go.
Eu achei que acabaria naquele combate com o vampiro. É, pois é.
I tried to reason with them, but they'd have beat me blue had you not come along. I'm grateful. Immensely.
What did they want from you?
They are neighbors. Wish me to take my folk, the shelter, elsewhere. They dislike that I help the beggars. I do not oppose going elsewhere, were we to have somewhere to go. But you've come with a problem, have you? My turn to aid you.
Need some information. Looking for a man who might have mentioned the Boot Black in Rue de Garl.
The Boot Black? A feisty lad. I know him.
Any of your, wards supposed to meet him recently or soon?
Forgive me. Those I help and I are not so close that I would know. But should you wait, they'll all soon come for their meal. You can question them yourselves.
Tem alguma coisa estranha aqui, mano. Essa missão não tá por acaso aqui antes de eu ir lá pra rainha me dar os negócios, mano. Uma coisa tem, mano.
My dears, I've a matter to address before I serve the soup. These two gentlemen have some questions of you.
Será que a Sienna mandou matar também a irmã dela, mano?
Try it out, your soup will go cold, and we wouldn't want that, would we?
Recently, 4 of you delivered sealed letters to the Boot Black. I know this.
Does anyone know what the gentleman means? Go on, speak up. Romain?
Why should I squeal? We were all told not to mention the letters. We all swore.
You can tell me, Romain. You were given a letter and you delivered it, right? Good work, Romain. Thank you. Who else?
I got one too. Gave it to the Boot Black. Freshy, he got one. But he can't
Claro que ele não vai estar ali.
as he's not here.
I still have mine. I'm to deliver it 2 days after the feast of St.
Olha lá.
It's a matter of importance to the duchy. Hand it over, or I'll take it from you, plain and simple.
But I was to deliver it personally. Let no one else see it. That is what she said, and she was
Olha lá, ela.
You ought to heed folk who are kind and honest. These men helped me a short while ago, helped all of us. If this individual threatened you, you need not keep the promise you made.
All right, take it. I didn't want to see the Boot Black anyways. It's always muddy there.
Damn it.
What is it? Another name, truly?
See for yourself.
Well. I must say, even I did not expect this. This time you will see to our Duquesa. It seems we
Caralho, pior que é, mano. A Sienna mandou matar a irmã, mano.
Judging by this, Detloff was literally supposed to tear her heart out.
Yet first you must snap her neck. Puzzling.
Puzzle complete now.
Alas, the matter's ceased to be a tantalizing brain tease and has turned incredibly grave. We've proof of a plot to assassinate Toussaint's ruler. We've proof of a coup d'etat.
Duchess was to be Dettlaff's last victim. Syanna planned it from the start.
Indeed. The logical conclusion, Geralt.
4 seemingly random victims to start. The virtue's their only link. Enough to get folk talking about a righteous, vengeful beast. Obscured the victims' links to Syanna, even as she had those she despised killed off one by one, leaving the Duchess for last.
Had she managed to fulfill her plan, none would have questioned the reasons.
Mano,
Most would have
que
thought Anna
história
Henrietta had done
foda,
for her
velho.
sins. She was known to show a hard heart on many occasions. Ample proof of a lack of compassion.
Why would Syanna murder her own sister? Out of envy? To take power? From an inborn penchant for evil?
Yes, yes, and yes. All seem likely, and none are mutually exclusive. But if you'd like to know for certain, you could always ask her yourself.
Think it's a good idea? After all, we foiled her carefully planned scheme. Think she'll even want to?
Talk to you? Would it harm you in any way to try? Some philosophers think empirical examination the sole path to knowledge. I believe you mentioned the Duchess keeps Syanna locked up.
Courtiers were insisting on a harsher punishment. Much harsher. Think Anna Henrietta had to protect her sister from a lynch mob as much as she wanted to protect her subjects from a criminal. One way or another, she's locked away in a secluded wing of the palace, awaiting trial before a court of law. I'd need to get past some guards to see her. Coming with?
Of course not. I shall await you at Mare la Chaise-Longue. I'll not risk entering the palace after Dettlaff and his minions rampage. Besides, I vastly prefer the company of a simple mug of mandrake brew to that of the Duchess's vile sister.
So, said straight up, it means you're going off to get drunk because you hate Syanna.
I've never been fond of categorical statements of that kind, but I admit I could not vouch for my behavior in her presence. She treated Dettlaff cruelly, caused his death in the end. And now this, atop all that, no, Geralt. I will not go with you. I will await you at the cemetery.
How's Samantha live?
Better to die of drink than of boredom.
Our Duquesa. Do you poke her too? Crikey. Vampires attack.
Halt!
Need to see Syanna, urgently.
In the matter of?
Want to talk to her. It's important.
Want to talk? Go see your gran at tea time. Not one locked up on the Duquessa's orders. No doing without special permission. Period.
Found some information important to her case. Need an explanation, urgently.
Ah, fine then. You're that witcher who solved the murders, no? Then you've my permission, but only for a few minutes.
Promise to be brief.
Passar a rola nela de novo se ela der moral.
The Witcher will speak with the inmate. You can take a momentary break.
As long as it's truly but a moment. Highly irregular, this.
Have you come to see how I fare? I'm fine, thank you. Artorius' ribbon worked wonders. It's a shame they took it from me.
I know who the 5th victim was supposed to be.
Goodness, you're simply a compulsive snoop. I'm in prison. Dettlaff is dead. Could you not just drop it?
Syanna, stop pretending you couldn't care less. I know it's an act, and it's really starting to wear. Why do you want to kill her?
For such an accomplished investigator to ask about the obvious? Come now, Geralt. Why do you think?
Because she turned her back on you, then banished all memory of you?
Bravo, Geralt. Yet another riddle solved, and your sick curiosity sated. Well, what now? Off to share your discovery with Anna Henrietta? Oh, she's no longer in danger, true. But she very well might add a little something to your reward.
Definitely gonna tell her. Not necessarily for the coin, though.
Then why do it at all?
She ought to know. If only 'cause you'll probably try to kill her again if she ever lets you out.
I probably will.
Caralho.
Perhaps, just for a second, you could stop dwelling on all the wrongs folk have done you and forgive her.
Why should I?
For old time's sake. You loved each other once.
Please. I don't know who fed you that rubbish, but...
Read your governess's diary. You played together, were inseparable. Henriette'd get you into trouble sometimes, sure. But there were also times she stood up for you. When you had nightmares, only she could calm you. Time eats away at memories, distorts them. Sometimes we only remember the good. Sometimes only the bad.
If she loved me so, why did she wash her hands off me? Forget me, hmm?
Syanna, you were exiled when she was how old? 12? 13? She was a child. What was she supposed to do? Rebel? Organize a coup? Steal your father's seal and forge a pardon? She was powerless. Wiped you from her memory not because she didn't care, but because your departure was traumatic for her. She forgot because that was the only way she could handle the pain.
Ugh. You meant what you said in the Land of a Thousand Fables. You really want a happy ending to this story, don't you?
Of course.
Ah, with all of us living happily ever after.
Go, Witcher, or they'll give your medal to another. And that would be a shame.
Farewell, Syanna.
Bom, tentei, né, mano, convencer ela.
Commander de la Tour would like to see you. Shall we go at once?
Tem que resolver uma coisa.
Need to tend to one thing first. I'll look in on him afterwards.
So be it.
Fala aí, Aquino. Chegou bem no fim, hein, mano. Muito boa a história dessa DLC, Aquino. Caralho. Olha que lugar top, mano. Descobri, mano. Faz pouquinho tempo que eu descobri, mano. Não, mano. Infelizmente o vampiro hip, mano. Deathloaf hip, mano. Só o Regis que sobreviveu. Na real foi o Regis que matou ele, mano. Porque só um vampiro consegue matar outro vampiro, tá ligado? Agora eu vou ser condecorado pela rainha aqui por ter feito tudo, ter salvado e tal. Acho que é a última cena da DLC.
Damien.
Geralt, it's about time.
É, ele não era o Aquino. E agora eu conto pra ele que a quinta vítima da Lyanna era a irmã dela ou não? Eu não vou contar porque eu acho que eu convenci ela com aquela conversinha lá que a gente teve, então eu acho que vão te prender. Será, ô, seu Rafa? Mas, mano, eu fiz o que era pra fazer, velho. Salvei ela e matei o vampiro. Por que eles iam me prender, mano? Se eu contar aqui que a quinta vítima era a rainha, vão matar a Lyanna lá, mano. Ah, não vou contar não, mano. Podemos conversar.
All right, we can start.
Very well. But you must behave. Less like a hired thug, and more like a man deserving of the Duchy's highest honor. In fact, you'd do best to maintain a dignified silence throughout. Let's begin the ceremony. Come with me. The Duchess awaits.
O traidor era a irmã da duquesa, o Aquino. A Lyanna. Ela tem uma puta história, mano. Que ela passou, que abandonaram ela e separaram e tal. Aí ela ficou puta e mandou matar todo mundo. Aí ela usou o vampiro lá pra fazer isso.
Without barrels, production will come to a stop, and it will be the end of us.
You lost them all in the fire. These are horrible tidings. Oh, we are most dreadfully saddened.
Yes, your enlightened highness all. Once the beasts had clawed their way into the warehouse, the whole place went up in flames.
I shall dispatch a palace guardsman to examine the site of the blaze. If things are, as you say, fitting compensation shall be paid from the ducal treasury.
Thank you, your enlightened highness. Your Grace, Geralt of Rivia has arrived.
My dear subjects, we come now to our next point of business. Of all the duties which fall upon my shoulders, as the ruler of this dominion, this duty is dearest to my heart. For now, we shall award the Order of Vitis Vinifera, Tucson's highest honor.
Geralt of Rivia, Slayer of the Beast of Beauclair.
Aê, porra.
Step forth.
We bestow the distinction upon the Witcher, who saved Beauclair from the terrible beast. Such is our desire. May this symbol serve as a reminder to all that the Witcher shall forever remain a friend of Beauclair. In more familiar terms now, I thank you immensely, Geralt. Damien has your reward for you. After all, it was but a contract.
Thank you.
I have a small surprise for you, in addition.
Nossa, 5.000 coroa, velho.
Of Sonreal, a wine normally reserved for the ducal table. The gustatory experience of a lifetime awaits. Are you content?
Tenho mais notícias. Cyanna queria matar você. Cuidado que eu vou falar isso, né, mano? Se bem, imagina se eu não falo essa e a Cyanna vem voando do nada e dá uma facada no pescoço dela, velho. Não, vou falar não, você é louco, mano. Joguei toda a DLC de um jeito, chegar agora no últimos diálogos, mudar, não vou mudar não. É que tu chegou depois aqui, né? Eu fui lá conversar com ela, mano. Eu conversei sobre a infância das duas e tal, que ela não podia fazer nada, que ela era muito nova. Aí ela meio que aceitou, tá ligado? Eu acho, né? Verdadeiramente honrado ou mal posso esperar? Verdadeiramente honrado.
Feels like a second distinction. I'm honored. Thank you.
I trust you shall make good use of it. In a moment I shall speak to Cyanna. Will you assist me? You returned my sister to me, yet you also showed me her horrendous deeds. As head of state, I must judge her fairly. But she is my sister. Thus my heart bleeds for her.
If my presence will help in any manner, of course I'll stay.
Eu acho que elas vão fazer as pazes, mano.
A person implicated in the murders which recently ravaged our fair city of Beauclair. Captain de la Tour.
Caralho, vão trazer ela, mano.
Show Sylvia Anna in.
Agora a gente vai descobrir se ela ainda quer se vingar ou se ela tipo, esqueceu tudo.
The Witcher will take part in our talk.
Só se, ó, vem comigo. Se a Sylvana contar que o Witcher sabe que ela queria matar a rainha vai ficar puta com o Witcher. O bruxo participará da nossa conversa? A duquesa me pediu pra ficar.
The Duchess requested I be present.
You have committed crimes. Grave crimes. Yet you are my sister. And my heart does not allow me to treat you as a common criminal. Thus I have asked Geralt to advise me, as one impartial. I shall now hear what he has to say.
Vixe, eu que vou decidir tudo, mano. Os crimes de Cyanna foram horríveis, mas o sofrimento dela tinha motivo. Cyanna é claramente culpada. Isso é tudo que importa. Caralho, Geraldão. Caralho, Geraldão. É agora que tu se lasca. Os crimes dela, sim, foram horríveis, mas ela tinha por que fazer isso tudo, mano. Né? Na real, foi tudo um grande mal entendido, mas tá resolvido, mano.
Bitterness consumes Cyanna. She had cause to resent many of the court of Beauclair. I know her reasons, understand them even. But I can't condone the actions she chose to take.
What is he talking about, Cyanna?
You know exactly what. I was forcibly exiled, remember? To your benefit. You knew well the throne would then be yours, though I was the elder. The ministers I can understand. They'd hated me since I was a child, thought me a poor prospect for the wife of a duke. I even understand our parents. I'd always sensed the problem. They simply feared me, for I dared to be free. That fabricated curse, it fell into their laps. A gift from above that brought relief. But you... Your dagger hurt most. You were my Henrietta, dammit. My darling little sister. Now do you understand, Witcher? She betrayed me.
Será? Será que a Henrietta vai assumir que traiu ela ou não? Acho que não, velho. Elas eram crianças, velho. Aí, até tá ali escrito, ó. Vocês duas eram crianças na época. Diz que entendia todos a quem detestava. Os que matou? Não, aqui mesmo.
You were children then. You and your sister both had no control over what happened.
You're wrong, Witcher. She had control. Remember, dear sister, the day they banished me from the palace? Of course, I'd had the idea to pelt the Nilfgaardian envoy with fish bladders, which we filled with rancid suet on a lark, and which you set afire at the last to impress me, I imagine. And I admit, you did. Hit him right in his hideous bald patch. Never laughed so hard in my life. But when it came time to find the culprit, you said not a word. I took all the blame and all the punishment.
It's true. I did not stand up for you. I was too afraid.
Caralho, tá melhor que novela mexicana isso aqui, velho.
The council was unanimous. They listed all my offenses. My flights from the palace. Supposed acts of cruelty. Inappropriate friendships. They cast me out. But you, the only one to understand me, you cowered in a corner, lifted not a finger to help. Not before, not after. You never tried to find me.
That's not true. I searched for you.
Aí, ó.
Sent out knights, gathered tidings from without. You did not wish to be found.
Ah, isso é verdade também.
Since the day you vanished, I have lived with the knowledge that I failed you.
As duas erraram, mano.
Dear sister, can you forgive me?
As duas erraram, mano. As duas têm que se perdoar, tá ligado? Nice. Abraça ela, porra. Vocês duas erraram, caralho. Ela mucha honra. Ana Maria do Bairro Sul. SBT apresenta. Mata. Que mata o quê, ô? Sai fora aqui. Que show, mano. Tudo acabou bem, velho. Graças a Deus. E as minhas escolhas, né? Algum tempo depois.
Best part of the whole ceremony, it was short.
Perhaps for you, as you ducked out early. The others are probably just getting started. The drunkenness never ends in this quaint realm.
Not so fond of Toussaint after all, are we?
Oh, this place is like a strong wine, Geralt. Good in small sips.
Não vai ter uma Neige?
How do you find my personal
Podia, não, seu
too strong?
Just right.
Credit the local mandrake of the Alrauna diabolus variety for that. The tubers which grow in this area's volcanic soil have an altogether unique flavor profile and display a remarkably uncommon dark brown tint.
Fascinating. All I can say is this batch turned out excellent.
Indeed. It might be wise to stockpile some roots for the future. Would you care to accompany me?
Agora, nessa escuridão?
You decide to go root picking now? It's dark out.
Geralt, even were I generously to assume it had simply slipped your mind that I am a vampire and thus need no light to see, I'd never believe you had also forgotten that you likewise have absolutely no trouble seeing in the dark. So, shall we?
Bora.
If you think it's a good idea, let's go. But I think you might be forgetting one thing. Fresh mandrake root of this variety is highly toxic, even to a witcher.
Ah, not a problem. I never forget matters of safety and hygiene in alchemy. Here, gloves and a mask. Don them, and you shall be in no danger.
Thanks. Right then, let's go.
This moonlight makes me
Opcional, coloque a máscara e luvas. Cadê a máscara? Ué, ele não me deu máscara nenhuma, mano. Ah, aqui em cima, aqui, ó. Máscara. Itens de missão. Cadê as luvas?
Thoughts? Let me guess. Succubus twins?
No, I was thinking about, how anything can look interesting when properly lit.
Even an old necrophage corpse?
You've not an ounce of refinement in you, have you?
Caralho, chega a arrepiar esse barulhinho aí, mano. Cadê outra? Cadê a outra mandrágora? Aqui.
Now, where'd that bloodsucker go? Won't be easy to track down. He is a vampire after all.
Regis!
Damn it, where'd you go?
Deu alguma coisa aqui, mano. Será, mano? Que no fim de tudo, o Regis era traidor, mano? Será?
Regis!
I did what I had to do!
Ah, tem uma lâmina aqui. Tá porra. Cadê a lâmina, mano? Tô vendo nada da lâmina, mano.
Those Bruxae, they called you a traitor.
Alas, we've a very simple code of honor, we vampires. So simple you might call it trivial. Either one is with us, unconditionally, regardless of the circumstances, or...
Won't let it go, will they?
They will not. Fortunately, we've another rule, an unwritten one, and just as trivial as the first. It is neatly summarized in the saying, out of sight, out of mind. That is why I must leave Toussaint. For a vastly long time, most like.
Yeah, I get it.
Let us make for my camp. I've an overwhelming desire to have another drink.
Hip lâmina.
Supreme bouquet. Firm, defined beginning, then develops gently, rising to a startling finish. Don't you think?
Not much of a connoisseur.
Then it is high time you started your education. After all, the Corvo Bianco vineyard is now yours. By the way, I left a gift for you at your new home. On the nightstand.
Thanks. Mind telling me what it is?
A trifle. That will nonetheless be useful should you need mutagens. Incidentally, have you thought about what you'll do with your prize? Shall you hang your swords over the mantle and take to pruning vines?
Ele tá perguntando se eu quero me aposentar ou não. Ainda não sei.
Don't really know yet. Might find the life of a hard-working vintner too tempting one day. Or maybe I'll just stick to the path, go on roaming, staring up at the stars after laying my bedroll at the roadside.
Ah, roadsides, bedrolls, and the sky above. I sense some poetry coming on, which of course brings to mind Dandelion. I can remember a night, not too far from here if I'm not mistaken. We hid in a cave while a blizzard raged all about. Does that sound at all familiar?
How could it not? We just set off to rescue Ciri from Vilgefortz.
Oh, our encounter with Vilgefortz.
Ah, é, ele se encontrou com ele na história principal aqui, mano.
So fondly. But that first stay in Beauclair, far calmer than this one.
Seemed like a land straight out of a fairy tale back then.
Tá no cu, mano. Esse jogo é bom demais, velho.
Appearances, Geralt. Appearances, like Mamoons and Dopplers, deceive. So what did become of Vilgefortz?
Vilgefortz.
Killed him. Sure wasn't easy, though. What about you? Any idea where you'll go?
Distance is of the essence. I thought I might venture south.
Nilfgaard?
Why ever not? The Nilfgaardians are a modern society. None there believe in vampires anymore. This fact alone could be very useful to one wishing to remain incognito.
Interesting point of view. I so don't feel like going anywhere. Sit here a while longer?
Putz, acabou, mano.
We have witnessed, and in fact on several occasions incited, many great and weighty events. After all that toil, I believe we deserve a bit of a rest.
That we do.
Muito bom, velho. Ai, caralho, que bagulho foda, mano. Chegou a encher meus olhos de água aqui, velho. Pensando que acabou agora. Há um ano atrás eu joguei o jogo base. Foi do caralho. E essa semana eu voltei a jogar as DLCs. Mano, as DLCs são tão boas quanto o jogo original, velho. Que bagulho foda, velho.
Actually, I'd love to go home.
O que tá marcando aqui, mano? Ah, eu ganhei uma casa, né? Eu ganhei uma casa, mano. Vá para casa. Vamos lá na minha casa que eu ganhei lá. Vamos ver o que tem. Cadê meu cavalo? Ele falou que deixou um presente pra mim lá. Vamos ver o que é. Sabe me indicar um iPega bom? Cara, eu tinha um, velho. Que era... Putz, cara. Eu deixei ele lá onde eu morava no sul, velho. Eu não trouxe aqui pra São Paulo. Tinha um bem bom, cara. Você tá falando aqueles controlezinhos que põe o celular, né? Eu tinha um que era bom pra caralho, velho. Mas eu não vou lembrar a marca agora.
Life in Beauclair can be quite dear. Death, that's always free.
Apesar do vacilo naquela parte da DLC, mas sim, cara. Putz. E é foda que não tem como esquipar, né, mano? Tu tem que fazer aquilo lá. É obrigatório, né?
How much for your work?
A lot.
Dá uma pesquisada no YouTube ou aqui no, pelos melhores controles pra celular custo-benefício, alguma coisa assim, tá ligado? Pega uns vídeos mais recentes lá. E esses controles é bom porque eles não são muito caros, né, mano? Tipo, se você for comprar um controle de videogame é muito mais caro. Lembro que na época o meu, acho que eu paguei R$50, mano. Eu usava pra jogar emulador no horário de almoço onde eu trabalhava, tá ligado? Caralho, mano, eu ganhei essa propriedade aqui, mano, onde deu aquele rolo dos vinhos, lembra, ô Rafa? Da hora, mano. O que tá rolando aqui fora? Isso aqui é tudo meu, mano, agora. Nice. Vamos ver qual presente que o Regis deixou pra mim aí.
Welcome home, sir. I am Barnabas Basil Fawlty. By order of the Duchess, I shall serve you as Major Domo of Corfu Bianco. I previously served with
passa
distinction
sim.
at the Nibley family manor and in Nazaire with Admiral Rompali, who, as you are certain to know, is an extraordinary demanding gentleman.
Whoa, Barnabas Basil. One thing you ought to know. I'm not your typical landed gentleman. Truth be told, this is the first real property I've ever owned.
Oh, in that case, you must leave it all to me. I shall organize, see to everything, and whip the house into order. I dare say this place will soon be the most prosperous vineyard around.
Great. Can already see I'm in good hands.
Prior to undertaking anything in that regard, sir, I feel I should inform
Ué?
you that someone has been
Será que
awaiting
a Liana tá aqui, mano?
You must forgive me, I do not know. Alas, your guest failed to give a name.
Será que é a Liana que tá aqui?
One last request
A Jennifer?
before you go in to see them. Please come and find me afterwards. I have yet to give you a tour of the estate.
As duas, caralho.
Unexpected as ever.
Caralho, a Jennifer, mano. A Jennifer, mano.
And beautiful as ever.
Essa é
Ask
top.
why I've come, or how I found you.
Wouldn't get a straight answer anyway.
Quite true.
Used to bother me, all your secrets. Now I know if you have something to tell me, you'll tell me. Don't need to ask.
I missed you, Geralt. Madly. Come outside. We can hold hands and stare at the sky, like some shitty two-crown romance.
Liking Toussaint so far?
The landscape's lovely and the towns are charming, no question about that.
But
the southern sun plays havoc with my wardrobe. To be blunt, wear black down here and you're pretty damn hot.
Might need to think about changing your color palette. Off-white and pea green, for instance.
And I'll wear scents distilled from turnips and daisies. I think I shall simply stay in the shade, and you'll bring me cool drinks at regular intervals.
Bring you whatever you want. You know, feels kinda strange having a home.
I must say I never pictured you owning real estate.
Was something of an accident, but I'm not about to complain. Yen, back then, before we fought the hunt, said you wanted to run away with me to the world's end. This vineyard, good enough?
Yes, although there's one thing missing.
Namely?
I shall give you a hint. It's large, white, has 4 legs, category taxidermy.
Oh yeah, the unicorn. Fine. You can bring it down here.
I knew you'd see things my way.
Ever thought this day would come? Me and you, peace and quiet. Bees buzzing, birds chirping.
I almost regret delaying so long before coming to you. I was quite the silly goose.
You have doubts? Though I imagine it might have been hard coming after me. Always were proud as a peacock.
Please, Geralt. I'm not like other sorceresses to feel that following someone means my wings have been clipped.
Ooh, watch what you say about your colleagues. Remember, it's an ill bird that fouls its own nest.
Well said, Witcher. You're not only handsome, but wise, too. I feel a bit like the cat that got the canary.
Yeah, and I'm... Damn it, you win. This time.
Ha!
How'd that start, anyway? Our duels and wordplay.
Forgotten. It was at a vernissage in Banard. You started it to keep from going mad with boredom. I remember finding your sense of humor both groan-worthy and somehow endearing. Never change, Geralt. I beg you.
Brought quite a few books. Let me guess. Working on a new spell?
Not at all. These aren't grimoires, just pleasure reading. The Name of the Orchid. A widower for half a year.
Always thought you too busy to make time for something as impractical as pleasure reading.
Because I was. But now I'm not. A few weeks ago, I awoke to the realization that I know not what to do next. I have no plan. I have no goal. And you know what? I like that. Finally, I can stop thinking about politics and focus on what's important to me.
Yup.
Which is why I came here.
Caralho, que indireta, hein?
So, talk again later.
Of course. I'm not going anywhere.
Que da hora, mano. Ganhei uma casa. Meu corpinho tá aqui. Tô rico. Nice. Agora é só missão secundária. Tem missões secundárias dentro das DLCs, mano. Tem missões secundárias, contratos, caçadas. Vixe Maria. Tem coisa pra fazer ainda pra caralho. Só que eu vou dar um tempo de The Witcher agora, mano. Eu vou platinar ele, mas vou jogar offline, não vou jogar em live The Witcher. Senão eu fico jogando só um jogo, tá ligado? Eu tenho que terminar umas missõezinhas que faltam no Assassin's Creed Unity. Algumas missõezinhas, acho que vai dar umas 2 lives. E depois eu vou começar o Halo, mano. Halo Infinite, eu acho. Ou eu vou começar o Halo Infinite, ou vou começar um outro jogo que eu vi que chama Blasphemous. Dá uma chance pra ver como é que é. Mas mais tarde, mais de noite, aí eu volto também. Vou jogar o Assassin's Creed que eu falei. Foi, né, ô seu Rafa? Foi do caralho, mano. Curti demais as 2 DLCs, mano. Realmente, o que estragou essa última DLC foi aquela parte do Contos de Fadas, mano. Mas, tá bugada a Yennefer? Mas eu curti pra caramba, mano. Vou tirar um print aqui, postar no Twitter igual o seu Rafa faz. Cadê o print? Print screen. Eu vou... umas 8h30, 9h eu volto aí com Assassin's Creed. Fala curtinho? Ah, então tá beleza. Tem 2 lives eu zero ele. Dark Souls eu já joguei todos do Aquino. Dark Souls eu joguei todos já, o 2 e o 3 o Aquino. E joguei também o Nioh 1. Falta eu jogar o Nioh 2 também, mano. Mas não, talvez eu jogue ele antes de sair o Elden Ring lá, sabe? Que eu quero jogar muito o Elden Ring. Mas tô saindo fora, mais tarde eu voltei. Valeu, Aquino, valeu, seu Rafa. Abraço pra vocês aí, mano. Obrigado, seu Rafa, por acompanhar essa saga aí. Quando você for jogar ou se fizer live, eu acompanho também. Valeu, falou. Bloodborne é de Play 5, né, mano? Play 4 eu não tenho, eu tenho só PC, mano. Depois, mais tarde eu volto pra nós trocar uma ideia. Valeu, falou.